Okay, so the finance minister of Ghana has come under extreme scrutiny. Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta is gradually becoming unpopular in Ghana, and today we want to dissect and bisect and just get a feeling or understanding on why he should have resigned. Personally, I think that he has had 3 previous opportunities to have resigned. Today, he has been dragged to the parliamentary committee where they are passing a vote of censure on him, which is exceptionally forcing the president to relieve him of his duty. Well, should we have come to this far? And what are the lessons that we could learn from this? African leaders can learn from fellow African leaders and other world leaders. Today, I share with you on Daily Rant with Ghana. So please, if you haven't subscribed, do it to subscribe to this video because there's so much content coming in your way. Okay, so Ken Ofori-Atta has been a phenomenal finance minister. He is a Yale graduate who has been a successful investment banker. So the Data Bank of Ghana is his venture. He's a co-founder of Data Bank, which has been one of the most successful investment banks in Ghana, and I dare say even in Africa. He is a very brilliant man, and at the time he became the finance minister, he helped Ghana become one of the fastest growing economies as of that time, between the period of 2016 to 2018. It was very, very impressive. And I think that even though he was very impressive, but he had 3 occasions to resign that he failed to do. And I want to just oppose his action or compare his action to other people who have been in his shoe in a similar case but have done the honorable thing by resigning. So number 1, the first time he had opportunity to resign was when the Republic of Ghana issued Eurobond. Now the Eurobond was issued by the finance minister, which is the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, the problem I had is that there was a conflict of interest with the administration of the Eurobond. Now, an Eurobond, whenever it is issued by a country, it is also being facilitated by a bank. Okay, so in this case, Data Bank, which Ken Ofori-Atta was a co-founder of the bank, was the one that was facilitating. Now, also mind you that the Data Bank will be paid 10% interest, okay, 10% of the entire the bond that has been issued, okay. So the Republic of Ghana issued $5 billion bond, and Data Bank stand to get 5%. So it's quite a lot of money. Sorry, it's not 5%, it's 10%. It's quite a lot of money. Now, here is the case that we had a finance minister who also had a financial interest in Data Bank. Now, a lot of people argued, from the NPP side, they argued that, well, this finance minister had already resigned as a board of director for the bank, so he's not doing anything wrong by having conflict of interest. Well, to me, he had not still resigned as a co-founder of the bank, which means that at the end of the year, when the bank declares dividends, he gets his portion of the money. So if you, being the finance minister, using the bank you co-founded to facilitate the Eurobond of the government where you stand to benefit, well, ethics will tell you that you have to stand aside, or you have to resign as a finance minister, or resign from the position of co-founder of Data Bank. Then we are going there with clarity that you have no financial interest in the bank. For me, this is the highest form of ethical standard, and many people have argued that because you are putting Ghana into debt, you are intentionally putting Ghana into debt to benefit yourself. though it might not be the intention, of course, the NDC, which is the previous government, had used data bank to facilitate previous bond. And I know data bank in Ghana is the best bank to have done that. However, principle tell you that since you have a sort of interest in the bank, you ought to honorably step aside and let somebody else take your position and facilitate it. If you cannot step aside, then resign from your position as the head or as the co-founder of Data Bank. I think it was one of the first opportunities he missed. People raised it, people argued on it, but it was ignored and he never resigned. From there, my doubt about him started increasing. The second opportunity Ken Ofori-Atta had to resign as a finance minister was, even on principle, was the day Ghana decided to go to the IMF. So prior to that, the finance minister had laid claims and wildly opinionated claim that we are not going to IMF. Ghana will never go to IMF. And because of that, the government introduced the e-levy taxes on your mobile money transactions. Now, after you have issued the e-levy, claiming that this e-levy will be the panacea to all our problems and that we are not going to IMF for some small boys to tell us what to do with our economy because we are a proud nation, we can manage our own affairs, we can steer through this, and this too shall pass. You made all these claims.
We are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are dire. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, We are not people of short sight.
And then at the end of the day, we go to IMF. Now, you are the person, per principle, you are supposed to say that, Mr. President, I don't believe that we should have gone to the IMF, but if you insist that we should go to the IMF, as a matter of principle, I am recusing myself as a Minister of Finance because I don't believe that this is the right thing to do. This is purely principle. Now, let me give you an example of what happened in the UK. David Cameron was the Prime Minister of UK, and many UK people were agitating that the UK should come out of the European Union, popularly known as Brexit. David Cameron, being the Prime Minister of the UK, said that, look, I don't think we should come out of the European Union. We should stay in the European Union. It is the good thing for us to do. And he said, okay, fine. I want to put this to a referendum. If the people of Britain want to come out of the UK, that is their wish. And what happened is that after the referendum, the Brexit happened. What happened is that the Prime Minister of the UK resigned on principle that, look, I don't want us to be out of the UK. But if the people of the UK want themselves out of the UK, so be it. Let there be a new leader who believes in us getting out of the UK. He stepped aside and Theresa May took over. That is what we say principle. This is what principles are. Okay. Now, that is Ken Ofori-Atta's persistence on being the Prime Minister as of this time makes some of us who trusted him so much from the beginning begin to doubt his principles. Okay, what does he stand for? If you do not believe that Ghana should go to the IMF, you think it is the worst idea, and then the president insists that we go, you step aside for the person who believes in the IMF to be there. And that is why I think that this is the second opportunity he had to resign so that his reputation will be intact. Let me give you another example of Martin Amidu. Martin Amidu was appointed as the special prosecutor by the Akufo-Addo administration. He accepted it, and for 3 years, Martin Amidu complained and moaned about the fact that he was not given the requisite tool to work. What did he do? He resigned and wrote to the president that, look, you appointed me as a special prosecutor, but per what I need, the resources I need to work, I'm not getting them. So on the basis of my principles, since I cannot deliver the results that the people of Ghana want as a special prosecutor, I'm stepping aside. Mr. President, go ahead and appoint somebody who can work with less resources that you think it's possible for the president to work with. And he resigned honorably. And that's why till today, many of us respect Martin Amidu for it. So the finance minister shouldn't have let this whole thing get to the privileges committee for them to be sitting on a motion of censure to come to this whole debacle. I mean, for me, it was unnecessary. He should have saved his face. He should have saved his principle. And this is something that is so profound of African leaders. African leaders, when they are in a position, find it so hard. When everything points to that same direction, they find it so hard to resign. And I don't know what's with us and resignation. Resigning does not mean you can never come back. Resigning means that as of that time, you think that you are unfit for that purpose. It does not mean you are a failure. It means that you have principles that are ready to stick to. That is what resignation means. Now, the third opportunity Ken Ofori-Atta had to resign was when generally COVID hit, the cedi was plummeting, inflation was skyrocketing, and he generally became unpopular. Now, Ken Ofori-Atta, being the finance minister, is, of course, together with the vice president, is the head of the economic planning team. They plan the economy and everything. And if our loans and has become unsustainable, we can no longer pay our loans, the country is in a mess, that's the point you have to say, hey, Ghanaians, I tried my best, I took certain risks, and I was thinking that because nobody expected Corona and the Russia-Ukraine war to happen, obviously. And personally, I think that if not for the Russia-Ukraine war and coronavirus happening, all this pandemic thing happening, the finance minister would have still been good for now. But that's my personal opinion, though. But these things has happened. You took certain high risks by issuing 3 Eurobonds and going for certain loans, which you were expecting to mature. The gains were destroyed by the pandemic and the war. I understand. However, you get to a point where you have to say that, look, I tried my best. I tried my shot. I took certain risks. It didn't work out. This is when I resign. I resign from the position. I know I have become unpopular with Ghanaian people. Many people have done demonstrations against you. Your own MPs from your own political parties have come up and spoken against you to step down. What else do you need? A comparison of his situation is the recent past UK Prime Minister, Liz Truss. Liz Truss had become Prime Minister for just 44 days. 44 days in the UK. She stepped aside when certain decisions she took became unpopular and everybody was against her. The people of UK were bashing her. She became overnight unpopular. What did she do? She didn't just stay. She resigned. That, hey, I took certain decisions that I thought it was in the interest of the entire UK. But on the hindsight, I realized that many people are unhappy about it. So please, I'm resigning out of my position. And that's it. Why can't Ken Ofori-Atta do same? And in any case, why can't the president even take a deeper action? This is what makes people lose interest in leadership. Leadership is about being decisive. Leadership is about taking a strong stance and stand with the people. It might not mean that the president hates the president hates Ken Ofori-Atta, his cousin. Even the more, the fact that they even have a blood relationship or some sort of it breeds a lot of suspicion, and a lot of people think ill of the whole administration. No wonder the president's image in the eyes of many Ghanaians have plummeted, and this is not good. This is not good for leadership. This is not good for the country. And this is when Ken Ofori-Atta should be stepping down. Right now, the parliamentary committee is looking into the motion of censure. I don't know how it will go. I don't know which direction it will go. But should we have come to this extent, should we have come to this state where the parliament has to now force a minister out? Africa, we have to really, really look into the way we do our thing, the way we live, the example we set to other people. What Ken Ofori-Atta and the president are doing is setting a precedent that even when you are failing in your position, don't resign, stay there. And for what purpose? You know, people are angry, people don't want you to be there. Why are you still being there? It beats my mind. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to this rant. If you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe. Let me know what you think about this Ken Ofori-Atta saga that's happening in Ghana. Do you think he should stay on, or do you think he should resign? Let me know down in the comment section. Until then, stay tuned. Bye bye.